Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everybody, to another amazing episode of ReferralsPodcast.com. Let me first and foremost congratulate you and also express my appreciation for you. Over 500,000 downloads of Referrals Podcast. Now, I only know like 10 or 20,000 of those are me. So many of you are subscribing, auto downloading, and I hear so many stories of you listening to Referrals Podcast on a walk after a meal during the day, like after lunch. I'm hearing from people who are doing elliptical, stationary bike, that kind of thing. And you are also listening to the podcast. I absolutely love that. Love those stories. I don't care how you take it in, whether you take it in on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, or Amazon Audible. Did you know we're on Audible? Check it out. Or if you go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/getreferrals, I don't care how you take it. I just absolutely appreciate you so much coming out here and checking us out every Tuesday. And hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully it's been helpful to get you referrals. And, today, another edition of real people, real stories, and real referrals. And it doesn't get much more real than this, people. 5 kids under the age of 7, producing over 150 plus families helped every single year. Like, shake my head. How does this super mom, she's not even a mom, she's a super mom. How does this super mom do it? Get so many referrals, run these housewarming parties, and do so much and get so much done. I can't wait to share that story with you. Before I do that, I have to give a big shout out to a super dad. Tom Seaman is a super dad within the Generosity Generation. He wrote, "It was great meeting everyone at Referral Mastery Summit. Just had that a few weeks ago. Appreciate all you do for the Gen community, as well as putting on a fantastic event. Keep being awesome. I listen to your podcast every single week and can count dozens of referrals from it." Tom Seaman, he's a lender out of Appleton, Wisconsin. Tom, thank you so much. Keep the reviews coming in. Keep the comments coming in. It feeds us. It inspires us. It encourages us to keep doing what we're doing. And a real quick call to action. If you're not familiar with Referral Mastery Academy, I highly encourage you to check it out. We have Networking Mastery class coming up on May 6th. It's just a couple of weeks away. Networkingmasteryclass.com. Mastery is MASTERY. Networkingmasteryclass.com. Use the code podcast100 for $100 off the class. In Networking Mastery Class, we're going to show you how to go from strangers to ambassadors with the business leaders in your area, literally step by step, how to take people who don't even know you. And by the end of the month, they're going to be stark raving fans who spread the word about you and they refer you willingly, turning into ambassadors. That's networkingmasteryclass.com. Speaking of a business leader in the community, today we have the honor, I'm telling you, I absolutely love this. I am absolutely thrilled to introduce a truly inspiring guest, Flor de Maria McNally. Flor is a top performing realtor licensed in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. She was already super mom. Now she's super realtor. She doesn't handle Ohio. She doesn't handle Kentucky. She doesn't handle Indiana. She literally is licensed in all 3 states, people. All 3 states. And she leads the dynamic team at De Maria Homes under the Keller Williams Advisors Realty. With over 150 transactions closed annually, Flor has built a thriving business primarily through referrals and by hosting personalized housewarming parties for her clients, a unique approach that celebrates new beginnings and fosters lasting relationships. A lot of you, if you've been on Referrals Podcast, you've heard us talking about these housewarming parties over and over again. 30 years of these, and what a great idea. But it's only great if you do what? It's only great if you implement it. So today we're going to help you do that. Beyond her professional achievements, Flor is a devoted wife and mother of 5, all under the age of 7, balancing her family life with her passion for real estate. She's dedicated to educating the Latino community on wealth acquisition and financial freedom, aiming to empower families to make informed decisions for their futures. Today, we'll delve into Flor's innovative strategies, her commitment to community, and how she manages to excel in both her personal and professional life. Let's give a huge Referrals Podcast warm welcome to Flor de Maria McNally. Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, what an introduction.
You
So
earned
much.
it. You earned it.
I'm
All right.
impressed.
So, Flor, and for those of you watching on YouTube, you're already impressed. For those of you who are listening to this podcast, do me a favor, do yourself a favor. Go to YouTube and watch this podcast because Flor has the best virtual background and is wearing the best, most appropriate shirt in the entire world. And I am fired up just by seeing her today. She hasn't even said a word yet. And I'm like ready to run through a brick wall for her. So how did you get the name Flor? Flor. Flor. Is it short for something? And tell me a little bit about that. What a cool name.
No, Flor means flower. So it literally means flower. So I'm Mary's flower. I'm Catholic, and that's what my whole team foundation is, Mary's homes, basically.
Okay.
And very appropriate because it's Good Friday. So
I love it. I love the name Flor, right? And
thank you.
I'm sure my parents thought about maybe naming me Floor, but I would have. So I will tell you, I love the name Flor, and I have to ask, right? Because your blouse is floral, because your background is floral, is your branding and logo floral? Do you have flowers on your real estate signs? Like,
Yes.
I'm about to take this whole thing down a whole different angle, but I mean,
Yes.
they gotta be, right? They gotta be. Is there a certain flower that is
It's
your
a
logo?
tulip. A
It's a
pink
tulip.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Love
So yeah, so actually, this is like one of the cards that we send out. It has the
it. Oh, I
tulips.
love it.
But yeah, so
So
people will see tulips and they'll text me and they'll say, "Hey, I'm thinking of you. I just saw some tulips," or they'll bring some to my office. It's pretty incredible.
is your favorite flower the tulip, or do you
Yes.
just hate it now because you see it all the time?
No, I love it even more.
Is there a color that you prefer?
Pink?
Pink
Can
tulips.
you tell?
I'm telling you. All right. So tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get started in real estate, and what led you to focus so heavily on building your business through repeat and referral?
Yeah, so I got started in 2015. It was honestly not on my radar. I was a bartender and I have a degree in biology and philosophy. So my goal was to become a veterinarian. But then I met my boyfriend, who's now my husband, and schematics change and you pivot. And so with him, I just imagined a family, and I just, everything just changed. That was suddenly the most important thing to me. So we moved to Ohio in 2014, and I couldn't get a job in the same thing that I was doing back in Maryland. Come from the East Coast. And so I just did bartending. I was just bartending. And I loved it because I was able to create unique experiences for my guests, and people would come back and see me because they knew that with me, they would get a personalized, I would remember their name, I would remember their order, I would have it already rung in when they walked in the door. And so I was expressing this to my husband, and he said, you should get into real estate. And I looked at him and I'm like, "Are you even listening to me? I'm not talking about, what are you talking about?" He's like, "No, I really think that that's the right path for you." So I stayed up all night. I looked it up. I saw that, it's a pretty easy barrier of entry. And so then I just started at Keller Williams, took all the classes, and I just implement everything that I'm told. And
I love it.
yeah,
I love it. Yeah, you're an implementer. And what's interesting is how many people that I've had on Referrals podcast and discovered out in the real estate world at the top of the industry are teachers, waiters and waitresses, and bartenders. It is
Yep.
an amazing disproportionate percentage of the people who are in those server type industries. So I absolutely love that. The other thing too that I talk a lot about on here is how important it is to remember people's names and remember something about people. There's nothing like remembering a drink order or remembering how they like their coffee. And for me, I do a lot of that in my phone in the description of their
Oh, that's a good
contact.
idea.
So I'll put it because I there's no way I'm going to be able to remember it. Did you actually remember those, or did you have that somewhere?
I have a pretty photographic memory when it comes to things like that. I didn't have as many guests as I have clients.
Yeah,
So, like you said, I mean, you absolutely need to implement technology to be able to scale those relationships. And I was actually having a conversation with another agent the other day, and she's like, how do you do it? Like, how do you? And I'm like, you have to use technology. You
yeah.
have to, because
It's
otherwise
the
it's
cheat
too
code.
much. It
It's the
is.
cheat code. It helps me cheat. I mean, I've got so many people that think I know all their kids' names. And I don't know their
Exactly.
kids' names. I have an app that tells me, or not app, but I have a description in the contacts that tell me all their kids' names. I just check
Exactly.
it before I see them, and I look like $1 million by leveraging technology, right?
Exactly. And what you accomplish by doing that is you make people feel important.
Hmm.
And I went to a conference recently, and this guy was up on stage and he was talking about personal branding. And he said, you're uniquely positioned to serve the person that you once were, the problem that you once had. And just, my childhood and everything, like my mom was stretched pretty thin. And so I just didn't get that sense of importance within my family. Not, saying anything bad about her. It's just,
Yeah,
she did what she could. And so now I realize like my business is built in a way to like solve that childhood problem for me. I just want people to feel special and important and loved. And yeah, and it just, those little details matter.
well, I got to jump to that, right? I mean, all right. So mom was stretched pretty thin. Mom's a little bit of a mentor and a hero. You are now a mom of five, doing over 100 transactions a year. Might be stretched a little thin, right?
Yes.
So how do you do that? Like I have one kid and I'm like five. I like I can't I can't even imagine it. So how do you balance that? And one of the things I love about you is just how family focused you are. And so talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's many, many layers, right? One of them is like casting the vision, not just with your team, but also with your family. So
Mm,
if your family knows where you're headed, then they're going to support you. And actually, I was having a conversation with my daughter the other night, and she looks at me and she's like, Mom, like you deserve everything that you have. She's
mm.
7 years old. Okay.
Wow.
You're like, you deserve everything that you have. You've worked so hard. And we as a family are here to support you so that you can accomplish all the things that you have in your mind to accomplish. And so it's like it's just like constantly talking to the family and making sure that everybody's on board, because then you won't face that resentment and the frustration and whatever else. So I think that's a really big part of it. The other part of it is just knowing how to ask for help.
Yeah.
um, I know I'm just one person. And so my husband and I mean, like I was telling you before we got on here, it's like, he just stopped by for 5 minutes. I was coming back from a final walkthrough, and then I have a closing, then I had this podcast. So it's like, being willing to be unconventional and like take the baby places where people usually don't take them, or, do like a, what do you call it? Like a drive-by breastfeeding session, just
Yeah,
go
I wouldn't call it that for myself, but I totally understand what you're saying. You got to make it work and you got to make it happen. It may not happen at home in the breastfeeding chair. It might happen at
exactly
the office. It might happen at a coffee shop. It might happen in the car,
in the
right?
car.
It's got
Exactly.
to be flexible,
You
right?
have to be flexible. You have to be willing to pivot, and you have to be willing to do things that are possibly unconventional, uncomfortable, and might be a little bit stressful for just a second. But if you're just willing to do the things and find a way to maximize that block of time, it works. And I guess the last thing would be just taking advantage of the moments when you do have that stillness and enjoying that and making that quality, right? So I was telling my husband, like, I feel like I have more quality time with my children than probably people that have 9 to 5s. Because 9 to 5, like they come home and they're decompressing, and like that time isn't usually very quality, you know?
Mhm.
And so like my 15 minutes that I have with my daughter having a conversation is very high quality. So just making sure to take advantage of those moments and just being super present.
Yeah, super present, and you really cherish and appreciate those moments, right? Whereas the 9 to 5er, it is, right? They get them up, they go to, get them to school or get them to the baby, whatever it is. They're gone. 9 to 5, they're doing their work or whatever it is. And then they come home and it's fixed dinner or go to the sports. And you can't tell me that there's quality time when the kids are in sports, right? Even if you're the coach, I wouldn't even call that quality time because you're splitting it with 12 other players. And
Yes.
and then, right, it's dinner, it's then get them to bed, collapse, and there's just so much to do. You're exactly right. They're probably, because of the other part of it is just really being present for that moment. I do have to add that we've had over 380 episodes of Referrals podcast, but drive-by breastfeeding has never been spoken in our podcast before. So I do want to thank that. And
Just
the AI
toss her in
companion,
here.
yeah,
I'll
the
latch her
AI
on and we'll
companion
keep it
is totally
moving.
checking if you can use drive-by and breastfeeding in the same phrase. So thank you, AI companion, for checking that out for us. All right. So when early in your career, when did you figure that maybe the cold calling world wasn't for you? The door knocking, the circle prospecting, the cold calling, the expireds and FISBOs. Like when and you decided, all right, I'm gonna focus on relationships. I'm gonna focus on referrals. When was that moment for you?
For me, it was always about that because I read all these books, right? How to Win Friends and Influence People. For me was a foundational change, like it was an evolution for me because I learned how to become a person through that book. And then, I mean, I'm not saying this just because I'm on your podcast. Like, I literally recommend your book to everybody. 7 Levels of Communication. I was like, this is how I want to run my business. This is what I want to do. This is me. And so, knowing that that's the direction that you want to take and just taking it 3 levels deep. However, the first 5 years of my business, I sold 100 homes total.
Okay.
The next 5 years, I sold 680 homes.
Wow.
So there was a moment in time where like I was doing Zillow leads, I wasn't really doing any kind of cold calling, but I was doing Zillow leads, and I would love on those people. I mean, those people still get gifts from me. They get birthday cards that are personalized. They still get all of the things that I do now, but they're just elevated. Um, but it was getting a coach in 2019 that said, what are you doing? Because in 2019 I had rejoined Keller Williams, and I was told that I needed to call FISBOs. And so I'm an implementer, so I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
like I've got to add another lead source, so I'm going to start calling FISBOs. I was absolutely miserable. I don't like convincing people that don't want to work with me to work with me. Like, I just want you to come to me, trust me, and like, let's keep it moving. And so then I hired a coach and I told her this, and she's like, why are you looking at FISBOs? Have you looked at your lead sources? And I said, yes. And so I had them all drawn out because I'm very techie. And she's like, 99% of your people are past client, current client, and agent referrals. What are you doing? She's like, you just have to dive deeper into those lead sources rather than spreading out.
Mhm.
And that changed
Double down, right? Double
everything.
down on what works.
Yes, yes. And that's exactly what we've been doing. We've just been layering and layering and layering and layering. And now it looks super sexy, but it started from just keeping in touch with those people and
Okay, this
showing them that you know them.
yeah, this is fantastic, right? You really have a tale of two careers, Flor. You have the 2015 to 2020 is that you did about 20 a year, 100 total. And honestly, we could be talking in 2025 about you doing 20 a year. And that's what most people do. They rise to their plateau, the Peter principle, right? They rise to their level of incompetence, if you will, and they stay at 20 forever. And then they try to come to us at their year 20, and they're like, "Well, we want to break out of this 20 a year mode." And it's like, "All right, that's easy, but we've got to make some changes." You're from 2020 to 2025. You're averaging 100 a year and or over 100 a year, and you're over 600 transactions. All right. So there was a big inflection point. And here's what's amazing. It happened in 2020, which
Mm-hmm.
is COVID year, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Did you get a KW Maps coach? Who was your
I
coach?
did. Yes.
Okay.
My coach, she's
Let's
still
let's
my
just
coach.
name names here, right? So
Yeah.
so who was it?
Emily Baker, and she's still my coach. She's my ride.
Okay. Rock
Yeah.
on, Emily Baker. We love you. All right. So you got a coach. Thank God for her.
Yeah.
Well, where she did not berate you or yell at you about your drunk monkey not being able to call expireds, FISBOs, or whatever, right? She
Right?
said, let's double down on what the heck is what. Kudos to Emily, because that's not the common theme
Normal.
of coaching out in the world. I just want you to know that, right?
Agreed.
So you know what? She allowed you to step into you, which is what great coaching is really all about. So what did you do differently in 2020 and maybe even 2021 to set this amazing inflection point and set yourself for growth?
2019 was actually the year when everything changed. The way that I started to double down was that I cleaned up my database. So I went into my database, I made sure that they were all tagged, that they were all complete. And it took me 7 months, but the work of like actually going in and finding phone numbers, finding addresses, finding birthdays, finding this, finding that, linking their Facebook profile, that actual work was my lead generation because I was reaching out to these people and like, hey, oh my gosh, like I've been talking to you in so long. Like, how's it going? Like, I don't have your birthday. I want to send you a birthday card. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so weird that you called me. I'm looking to buy a house. The year before that, I had sold 20 homes. And 2019, just the act of cleaning up and organizing my database, I sold 52 homes.
Mm,
I was running ragged. I mean, it was rough.
hmm
I didn't have any leverage. But yeah, and then 2020 was when Emily came in and she, yep, and I was trying to spread out my lead sources. She had me go deeper. From there, it was just polishing things,
hmm
like how are we sending out the birthday cards? Could we have a VA put them together? Okay, what does that look like? What does that cost? Can we keep the personalization? Like these are the cards that I send out.
Yeah, I have to tell you, you showed me the wedding anniversary card too. So
Yes.
here's what I want people to really understand is a huge inflection point for you was cleaning the database. It was get, and here's the thing, like, all right, so what happens? The first thing is you start conversations because you're cleaning your database. And people are like, how can I get these people's information? How can I get their address? How can I get their phone number? And people are saying, well, you got to do this, or there's this. You go to tax records, or you go to what's that called? Not targeting, retargeting. No, it's not retargeting. It's what it has a kind of a fun name where you actually get their phone number. I can't remember what it
Oh,
is. Like I don't do it, so I don't know what it is. But
yeah.
but it,
Right.
it's got like a cool name to it, but I don't remember it. And by the way, if you're a listener of this and you can tell me what that name is, then let me know. But don't get your phone numbers that way, right? Get your phone numbers like by calling them or finding them or looking back to your data, and then you call them and you get their email and their address. And the other thing is, if you want to send wedding anniversary stuff, then you got to know what you got to know their
Their
wedding
wedding
anniversary.
anniversary.
And if
Yeah.
you want to send birthday cards, what do you got to know? You got to know their birthdays. So it's one of those where with a few small sets of data, you can build a 10 level relationship. You can build an ambassador or champion level relationship. So I love that. And here's what's interesting is it sounds so simple, but like you said, it can take 7 months to do it. And you know, is everybody out there ready to clean it up over 7 months? They have to make that decision. But I'll tell you, I love that part of it. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is, all right, so you were cleaning up the database. You started another strategy that is also near and dear my heart, right? Uh, and so housewarming parties. When did you start the housewarming parties? And let's unpack that a little bit for our listeners. They haven't heard this in a while, so let's unpack like the whole housewarming party strategy.
Yeah, and I just want to mention like this number sounds exaggerated, but I actually went to my spreadsheet and I pulled this number just by sending birthday cards, doing quarterly calls, and not even like being super consistent with them because I've been popping out babies for the last 7 years. So it's tough. It's tough. Like I have a 3 month swing after I have a baby where I'm like, okay, like I'm back and I'm making my calls again. Home anniversary gifts, 4 events a year, and the housewarming parties. I generated 736 referrals last year,
Yeah,
warm
yeah,
referrals.
yeah.
Um,
What you got to say that again. Say it slow,
700.
say it loud, say it with pride, and just let everybody salivate and just not get it twisted at how awesome that number was.
It's an amazing number. I couldn't
So,
believe it.
how many referrals did you generate last year?
736.
Is there a
Yep.
mic over there you can drop, or don't drop your computer? But all right. So let's
Yes.
unpack that. And you said quite a few of them are from housewarming parties. A lot of them are from the relationships and doing the kind of the base stuff, right? And then, all right, when did you do your first housewarming party?
My first housewarming party was in 2019. The reason why I started doing the housewarming parties was I had a coaching session. So you start to see a pattern here. I always look up to mentors, books, and I'm always trying to learn from people that are doing what I want to do. And so I had an opportunity to ask this top tier coach one question. And so I thought about it and I'm like, okay, so I sold 52 homes. Like, what's my next step? Okay, my price point. My price point was crash. I mean,
Mm,
I think it was like 100,000 at that time. And so I was like, I'm like running myself ragged, like doing these transactions, and I'm not actually like making that much money, right? And so I went in there and I was like, I want to increase my price point. She said, do housewarming parties.
mhm,
That's weird. She's like, I'm sure you sold one house in your desired price range. I'm like, yeah, I sold that one $200,000 house. Throw them a housewarming party. They know other $200,000 people. I'm like, that's genius. So I'm very systems oriented. So I wanted to create a system around the housewarming party where it was scalable, where I could do it for everybody because I wanted to offer it to everybody, and where I could duplicate it, right?
yeah.
So I just got a few things on Amazon that I could use over and over again. I'm still using that stuff. And I'm just elevating it every single year. Like in a couple of years ago, I got a 360 photo booth. And so it's like, you just like add a sprinkle here and there. So we've done probably 60, 70 parties since 2019.
Yeah,
It's
2019 and 2020 are, I mean, you didn't just clean your database in 2019. You started doing housewarming parties. And, one of the things about that is instead of growing by one family at a time with every transaction, you're actually growing by 20, 30, or 40 families at a time because, and not only are you growing, but these people don't see you with your mom hat on or your PTA hat on or your jogger hat on. They see you with your realtor hat on. And not only do they see you with your realtor hat on at a housewarming party, they see you with your superhero cape on because they don't just celebrate the homeowners. They're like, Flor, you made this happen. Flor, congratulate. Flor, great job. Flor, you're so awesome, right? At the housewarming party, they're not just celebrating, and you're pushing it on the homeowner, right? We always push it on the homeowner, but
Always.
and the more we push it on the homeowner, what happens? The more they're, oh, you're just being
Oh, you're
humble.
the best. I
It's
know.
so great that you're,
I mean,
and
I had one client, she had set up all these appointments for me at the housewarming party. I'm like, no, 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 this
yeah,
is not what this is
yeah,
about.
you're like, no, no, but I'm going to go ahead and schedule those.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, no, no,
But
don't do that. Wait,
I'm
who are these
gonna
people? Let me write it down.
tag these and make sure that we have tasks
Yeah.
for Monday, but don't talk about it right now.
Well, we got to be open to the opportunity, right?
Yeah,
We've got, and that's what a housewarming party is. The opportunity of the transaction is one thing, right? And then how do we make the opportunity of the transaction more? It's a housewarming party because it's the first thing is how many agents actually follow up post sale, period. Well,
right.
it's less than 80%, right? We know it's less than 80% just based on data. It's probably less than 5%, right? I mean, I'm sorry, it's less than
Less than
20% for
12.
sure.
Oh,
And
20%. Yeah.
it's probably more like less than, 10 or 12%. But anyway, so we are forced through the housewarming party to follow up post closing because we have the housewarming party. So we get to deliver more value and they don't say things like, well, they just got their paycheck, right? They're like, oh, we love it. And then you can't get any better than being at the housewarming party and everybody loves the house, everybody loves the homeowners, everybody loves you. And we don't want to be marketing and like having commission breath, but we also need to be open to the opportunities, right, Flor? We need, like, when somebody's talking about real estate, we need to follow up on that diligently, right?
100%. And whenever I do an event or a micro event like a housewarming party, my biggest focus is not referrals. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that that sounds really weird. Like I was telling you, there's a lot of naysayers. I've never asked for a referral in my life. Um, but my main thing is, do I have complete information for all the people that are going? And so when the people set up the housewarming party, again, I'm very techie. So they fill out a form, the RSVP guests, and so we have their name, number, address, email, and birthday. So now they're getting a birthday card every year from me, the
Mm-hmm.
person that hosted this party. And they're like, it's like surprise and delight,
That's right.
Somebody, I think it's Brady that says that, surprise and delight.
Yeah.
You're not expecting it and you get it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then doing it the right way, like the housewarming parties. I mean, I even go as far as like sending out the invitation.
Love it.
Yep, personalized.
Love it.
We send out a picture of them in front of the house for an email. And we do this like really awesome video for them. I mean, it's really a fun experience. And my family is involved.
Mm.
Jimmy cooks all the tacos. He hates it, but he does. I make the margaritas.
Now,
And
here's the thing. I heard hate it and tacos in the same sentence for the first time. We are setting so many firsts
so
at
many
this that it's,
records.
but here, that's the other thing I love is tacos are so on brand, right? So
Oh, right.
Latino community, I mean, we did barbecue. I was in Kansas City,
Oh,
so we always catered barbecue. Well, that's perfectly on brand for Kansas City, and it's the greatest for people who relocated from other places into Kansas City because they're indoctrinated into there is a barbecue culture in Kansas City. So it's one of those where I absolutely love that you're doing tacos and you're keeping that part. And here's the other thing. If you always know you're having tacos, everything else is pretty easy to plan. So,
exactly. Exactly. And the idea of the tacos came from 90% of it is already prepackaged. All we have to do is cook the meat, cook the rice, and then we have a vegetarian option. So if people don't eat meat, then they can just get the rice and beans.
that's right.
Very fast, very transportable, and then and tasty. And my family comes with me, and we once after we set up, I go sit on the couch and I just hang out. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just hanging out with my kids at somebody else's
You're the
house.
person. You're the person. You're a part. But the thing is you have gone from realtor to part of the family circle, part of the friend circle. You're now part of their circle. And that's a really big element to the housewarming parties is you're outside. And here's the thing. How many of the 38 out of the 40 people, the couple knows you and the couple knows that you guys were working together. But you know what? Their friends didn't know necessarily that you were working together. Their aunts, their uncles, their coworkers, their neighbors, none. And then all of a sudden, they all know. that you're in real estate, that you're good, and that your clients love you, right? And that you throw housewarming parties for them. So
Right.
yeah, so many good things. So you do the invitations, you do an RSVP, ASAP Google form for them to register so that you know how much food to make. And that's a really good excuse to get that information because you
Yep.
need to know how many are coming so you know how much food to make. And then you set up. So talk about the day of the housewarming party. What do you do around the day? And do you do a certain day of the weekend more often than not? Or tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I used to have it open on Saturdays and Sundays, but that would really impact our family day on Sunday, and I'm very protective of that. So we closed that off and we just left it on Saturdays. Um, and it works out great. Um, so the day of the party, everything's pretty much done. Like I have a checklist system called Next, where everything has already been set up and emailed to me. So all I have to do is print, upload, and we're good to go. And what I mean by upload is we have an overlay for the 360 photo booth. So my team sets it up for me, they email it to me. So then all I have to do is upload it the day of. I do a mass text to all the invitees and I say, I'm looking forward to seeing you. So now they've heard from me 3 different times
Yep.
by mail, by email, and by text. And so the probability of them not coming is very low because they're
Yeah.
like, I feel pressured. And
When
so
are you sending the text? Are you
what do you
sending
say?
it 24 hours, 1 hour, or the day of? Like
The
what time
morning
are you
of.
do what? The morning of, and
The
then your
morning of.
parties in the afternoon or the evening, 4 to 6, 5 to 7, 6 to 8.
Yeah, usually I haven't had anything earlier than 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. So afternoon or evening, and you're sending it in the morning, which is great to confirm, right? They may have forgotten about it, and now, oh yeah, this is what we're doing tonight. All right. So do you put out pointer signs to the party for
Oh,
directions,
that's a
or
good idea. Oh, I put out
fantastic?
balloons on the
Yep.
mailbox.
Love that. Love that.
Yes. So we show up about an hour and a half prior to the party because the photo booth takes a little while to set up. My husband starts cooking about 3 hours before the party, before we even get there. So he cooks that, packages up the rice, beans, and the beef, and then everything else is in a cooler, and then we all rush out. And then our videographer meets us there. So we put up the balloons, we pick a spot for the photo booth, and we text the clients before too. And we're like, hey, we're gonna arrive about an hour and a half early. We need your Wi-Fi password. We need a spot for the tacos. And then we need a spot for the margaritas. And so they get all that cleared up for us. And we show up and we're like, do not touch anything.
Mhm.
We've got it. Do you want
That's
a
right.
margarita?
You guys just relax and enjoy the party, right?
Exactly.
All right. So the margaritas, are they supplying it? Are you supplying it? Like, talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I supply the food, the margaritas, obviously cutlery and plates, napkins, the photo booth, and that's it. So I tell them that they can bring soft drinks if they want, because my margaritas are famous. That's why I'm protective about that. Yeah,
There we
so
go.
I'm bringing the margaritas, because I was a bartender. Uh,
Mary Floor's margaritas. I'm telling you,
Flor's margaritas are the
yeah,
best
Floor's
margaritas.
margaritas. Yeah, love that. De Maria margaritas, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I see. That's awesome. All right. So, they don't have to do much, right? They're there. And are your parties typically a couple hours, 3 hours, 1 hour? How long do you do the party for?
Yeah, so the party itself is 3 hours, and I break it up into, again, I'm very systematized. So it's the 3 hour block. Hour one is basically everybody is eating, drinking, having fun. Hour two is when people are more focused on the photo booth. So I'm like trying to rally people onto the photo booth because it's super fun. Then people get excited. It's kind of like a birthday party, like the birthday party, you've got like the food part, then you've got the birthday cake part, and then you've got the gift part.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. So then the last portion of the party is when we do the raffle. So I do have a raffle. I bring 3 gift cards. Amazon $75, Chick-fil-A is $10, and Kroger's $25. And so I put the wheel of names up on their television screen. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, like the energy is just so high. Like people are screaming, they're like fighting, and so much fun. So then everybody's together at that point, right?
Yes, right.
And the raffle is used also to capture any lingering guests that didn't want to fill out the form before. I capture them at that point. I get their name, phone number,
Do
address.
they QR code it, or do they, how do you get them to fill out the form at the party?
I've got a laptop, and then
Yeah.
I also have a QR code so they can do it
Okay.
either way.
Okay.
And
Great.
people start to rally, like, did you see it's $75? Like, go fill it out. Like, it's
For
free.
sure.
So I
Right.
capture everybody. Everybody's
That's
captured.
right. Both adults, right? So people
Both
say, is it
adults,
one
exactly.
entry per
Unique
family? And you're
information.
like, I want them both, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes. And if one of them, like they try to pull fast ones on me, but I'm
They
very
enter 4 times.
strict.
Yeah.
Yeah. The husband will use the wife's information for both entries, and I'm like, okay, then the husband can't be on there. We need unique information to be able to
Nice. Love
raffle.
it.
So
And
then
you use, all right. So the wheel, you're putting that on their TV through your
yep,
phone? Okay.
yep.
All right. So once the names are in the Google form, you're using the raffle wheel, right? And it spins and then it picks one of the names. And I love how long it freaking spins. Like
I know, me
whoever
too.
whoever invented that was a genius. Like it spins forever and everybody's like, "Come on." Like,
Ah!
yeah.
Then it
Yeah.
always goes between two and it just creates chaos. It's so much fun. So
All right.
once everybody's all together there, then we take advantage and we do the group photo. So then we go outside, we get everybody, in a big group, and the videographer is who's also like very much aligned with my vision and just gratefulness and giving and generosity and so he's everybody falls in love with him. But anyway, so we do a video of the group, and so he puts that at the end of the video, and they're such good videos. And then he takes a group photo, and then I send them a gift. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I send them a gift after the housewarming party with
Okay.
that picture on it. Here it
Love
is.
it.
Yeah,
What yeah.
that's a bamboo board,
Yeah.
and it's got the picture of the.
Can you send me that picture?
Yeah,
That is awesome. That is
yeah.
awesome. What a great memento to hang up in your brand new home and everybody celebrating the new home. That it it might be the best strategy in the history of real estate. I mean, and the thing is the heart of it isn't a strategy. The heart of it is we want to celebrate our new homeowner's home. And so and do you invite the neighbors too?
I should. I haven't done that because a lot of people are like tricky with their privacy. I've had one client that asked me to do that, and we did send out invitations, and not a lot of people signed up. So it hasn't worked. But man, that would be really cool too, to get to know all the
Even
neighbors.
if you invite them and they don't come, there is some benefit to that of the homeowners. It's just like if they see each other on the street, the neighbors will wave, right? That's that. So,
Oh,
and
that's
the
so
other thing too
nice.
is if your homeowners have a dog or a cat and it ever gets out and either does some damage or it just gets out and they need help finding it, like just saying, "Hey, listen, like we need help finding our dog," or the dog runs over and destroys a flower at a neighbor's house. Well, instead of that neighbor getting mad, they at least they got invited to the housewarming party. So they're like, "Oh, you know what? These are nice people. Their dog got out." Otherwise, they're like, "That damn like dog neighbor, like what? Why can't they control their dog, right?" So what we have to realize, and I know you do, is that about
Creating community.
50% of your home ownership experience is your relationship with your neighbors,
That's so
right?
true.
It really is. So I love it. I love the housewarming party as a bridge for that. And all right, so how how has this affected your business? Like, how do you feel like been the impact of starting housewarming parties?
One of the things that I realize is like I really try to be super connected to all my clients throughout the process, but some of them aren't like super lovey-dovey like me. Like I'm very touchy-feely. And and then they'll ask to do a housewarming party. I'm like, okay, well, this is gonna be weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they're like two engineers. And you're like,
yeah,
there's no way they're going to say yes. There's no
yeah,
way.
exactly. And then
I'll
they sign
offer
up, and
it.
you're like, what?
Yeah, you're like, you really want to have a housewarming party? They're like, yeah, what are you talking about? One of the reasons we worked with you is because we heard you were going to do a
And
housewarming
you're
party. It's like,
like
what?
pink invitations, yeah. So yeah, so then I've had those people sign up, and it's deepened my relationship with them, like beyond like obviously, like I don't even think about the referral part of it or like anything. I'm like, I was able to really cement that relationship
Yeah,
through the party because we spent 3 hours together hanging out, talking about things that aren't related to real estate.
right.
So in that sense, like I've just deepened my relationships with my clients. I get to really experience their new home. It's just such a rewarding piece for me that it motivates me to just keep going. This business is hard. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm doing the right thing. I'm here. I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing what I love. I love connecting with people. And these housewarming parties have really, helped me to elevate that experience.
I love it. All right. So what's next for you and your business in 2025?
2025, so out of the 150 transactions that I do, 125 are buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So 2025, it has looked like just elevating my listing process, and just duplicating what I do with my buyers on the seller side.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun. So they're getting that kind of experience that really, the seller side, I feel like is more sterile, more cold, and more calculated.
Yeah.
And so just warming up that side of the transaction has been a lot of fun. We've taken 20 listings so far this year.
Yeah, good focus. Good focus. And so it's interesting you say that because I had such success with the house ring. I literally did a house ring party for my very first client. I came from a party atmosphere. So having a party at their house sounded like a great idea no matter what. Beer and pizza and I got 11 referrals from that party. And you were talking about that's genius by that coach who suggested for you to do house ring parties because I did the housewarming party for about $165,000 house. The parents, both their sets of parents showed up. Her parents, Vanessa's parents, actually within 6 months had sold a $400,000 home and bought a home around $600,000 in Kansas City. So I instantly raised my price point just by working with the parents of the buyers who came to the housewarming party. And if I had not done the housewarming party, I would have been pigeonholed as a first-time home buyer, 150 to $200,000 agent forever. And
Forever.
instead, it just
It's a
split,
trap.
right? It just grew. I also have another great story about a $60,000 home that I sold. To Spencer and April Egan, and I was the guy who did housewarming parties. Well, I'm like, this housewarming party is going to cost me
As
more
much
than
as
I
I
made.
made.
So it was like debatable on whether I do it or not. I ended up doing it because I'm good to my word, and I'm not joking. So first of all, I did get 5 or 6 referrals from doing the party, but Spencer ended up going to Columbia, Missouri. They moved from here to Columbia to go to school. And so I referred him to an agent in Columbia and I got a little bit of a referral fee, so I got some there. And then he went to school 7 years later. He calls me and now he's Dr. Spencer Egan or
Oh,
Dr. Spencer. And when they come back, they bought a $750,000 house in Kansas City. Right now, they were married, they had 3 kids, and I just got to see that evolution of them. But it's like, man, what if I hadn't done that housewarming party in the very beginning and been good to my word? I would have never got to know them later. So
I
many
was
cool
talking to
stories.
an agent that it was like, oh, I don't do $100,000 deals. I'm like, why not? I mean, they're people. They need our help, like, and they need your help. Like, you're a great agent,
Yeah.
and most of the time they turn into these kind of opportunities
Yep.
down the line. Everybody has to start somewhere.
That's exactly right. And so, with that thought in mind, the last kind of question is all right. So, what's one thing you wish more agents understood about the power of generosity in business?
I wish more agents would get out of this mindset of when do I ask for the referral? If
Mm.
just give back to the people and show them that they're important and special and that you love them, the business will come. It will pour in. You won't even know what to do with yourself. Your phone will be ringing off the hook. So just give back. Just give back and you'll get a lot more back than you give.
I love it. Don't ask for referrals verbally. So over 500 referrals a year, every year for 12 years, never once verbally asked for a referral. And Flor's here did 736 referrals last year, over 150 transactions. And ladies and gentlemen, she didn't ask for a single referral verbally. What else, what other evidence do you need out there at the power of generosity and treating people amazingly? And it all started as a bartender who remembered names and remembered orders and drinks for her clients. And now, what a story. What a story. I mean, Flor, this has been an amazing thing. We talk all the time about real people, real stories, real referrals. Well, you epitomize that. Like, you are so real. And like, I barely knew you and I loved you. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It was just,
thank
it, I mean,
you.
that's the truth. And it's just, this has been such an amazing podcast. I just really, really appreciate it. And you've knocked it out. What an inspiration. And I just want to say thank you for being our guest here today on Referrals Podcast.
I feel honored to be here. Like I read your book and I told my whole team, I'm like, I'm talking to Michael Maher. Like this is crazy. Like I literally look up to you and gosh, I don't even know what to say. So thank you. Thank you for the
Well, thank
opportunity.
you. I look up to you as well. So, yeah, you're gonna have to write a parenting book down
Yeah.
the, real estate
Somebody
parent.
said Sex After Marriage should be my next book.
Yeah. So there is sex after marriage. Did you just? I mean, hey, Sherry. I'm just kidding. So very, very cool. And so thank you again for being on and just really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right there. Generosity leads to referrals. And I will tell you, this is one of those podcasts you're going to want to go back and listen over and over again to get the details. And of course, we've got details at housewarmingparties.com and networkingmasteryclass.com. And by the way, if you enjoyed what we do today and you heard today, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button either on YouTube or if you're on iTunes or one of the places you listen to podcasts. If you feel the urge, please rate and review us. And here's a note: when you do review us, make sure that you put your contact information in the review. We may send you a little gift, and it's there for people who refer you. And guess what? You know who listens to Referrals Podcast? People who run their businesses by referrals. So when you do that review, I would love for you to end up with a referral. That'd be kind of a cool story. And so without further ado, let's let you go. I appreciate all of you. And here's the thing. I know what the next podcast is about. And I'm just telling you, you're going to want to subscribe. You're going to want to make sure you tune in next time on Referrals Podcast because it is a great one. I appreciate you. I love you. We'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast.